Hey, you know what the 3 best free delay plugins is? Well, you're about to find out, because in this video I'm going to go through all 3 of them in tandem, and I'm going to show you how they work, what their features are, and what's it not to like it. They're free. And for your convenience, I've also made a comparison chart where I have the pros, the cons, the features, and so on and so forth. Hey, I'm Ole Petter Myhren from subphotic.com, and if you haven't already, download my free mixing guide. The link is in the description. You know, as a matter of fact, everyone who has a platonic relationship with a baby, go to Valhalla. And also if you're a fallen soldier on the battlefield. Everybody from Norway knows that. We have the Valhalla Freak Echo, the Baby Audio Baby Comeback, and the Platoon Studio Delay 11. And they're all free, they're linked in the description, and here we go. I've used Valhalla plugins for ages, especially the Vintage Verb, and Crystalline from Baby Audio is good as can get, and Platoon Studio is quite new to me, but I immediately fell in love with their free offerings. And just to be practical for a moment, the download and install is easy as can get. You click download and just press next, 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 finished, and you're done. Then you open your DAW and it should be there already. Now let's take a look at the features. And as you can see here, they all have a mix knob, which comes really in handy, especially if you assign this plugin straight on an audio track instead of routing it to an aux, which I usually do. And they have the same type of time controls, except that the Delay 11 has a full 4 bars of delay. So you get a shot and then you have to wait 4 bars, and then comes the next echo. They all have a feedback knob. The low cut and the high cut is really present in the Freak Echo. There's no such thing in the Baby Comeback, and it sort of exists on the Delay 11 as well, but not that pronounced. It's more of a color control you have there with the bright and the dark. They all have stereo widening, and what's special about the Freak Echo is that it has this crazy pitch shifter function, and the Baby Comeback and the Delay 11 has no such things. What's special about the Baby Comeback is that it has a ping pong delay, which is not present in the Freak Echo and the Delay 11. And also, Baby Comeback has a ducker, which essentially ducks the signal whenever a sound from the same source is active. To be a bit diplomatic, they all have color controls, but the Freak Echo doesn't have like a dedicated color control per se, but the pitch shift knob is sort of like coloring the signal. The Baby Comeback and the Delay 11 has really accentuated this function. This feature set is really present in both of those. And what's special about the Delay 11 is that it has a balance control, so you can balance from right to left. And this is really practical when you want to have it inserted just on the right ear, for example, or slightly to the left or right, so you don't have to tweak your aux channel. And both the Freak Echo and the Delay 11 has a resizable user interface, which is really practical, in my opinion at least. When you're working with a mix session, you can choose how big the plugin is. I really like that function. The Baby Comeback does not have this function. None of them have presets, but these are simple plugins. They are really accessible, and from the get-go you can start tweaking, and in 5 seconds you have something that you're proud of. So presets, no thank you in this case. It's like EQ. I don't need EQ presets. It makes no sense to me. And all 3 plugins feature the function that you can just double click on any parameter and it will reset that specific parameter. Now, let me show you how I use these suckers. For my own convenience, I'll just use a vocal backing track, and here we go.
365 bro. 365 bro.
So quite similar in tonality, but let's go crazy with them. Now let's try the pitch shift on the Valhalla.
365 bro. Alla är i cheat mode. Shitless når vi drar på. Och dum som en smartphone.
So there are some possibilities right there. So that was the specialness of the Freak Echo. Let's listen to the Baby Comeback here. Let's see.
365 bro.
Now we have engaged the width button. Now let's do the ping pong function.
365 bro, 5 bro.
Let's apply some analog warmth still with the ping pong.
365 bro, 5 bro.
You can hear it's darker and more gritty. Now let's hear it with the sauciness. It's sort of like a reverby function.
365 bro,
And then some vibe, some cheap vibe.
365 bro.
Even darker than the analog style. And then you have the ducker. Now let me show you the ducker in action.
365 bro, 5 bro. Alla i cheat mode. Shitlås når vi drar på.
So the echo stopped immediately when something else came along in the same audio track. Now comes time for Platoon Studios delay 11. Let's hear it. Let's do it with some drive.
365 bro. Alla i cheat.
Let's add some brightness.
365 bro. Alla i cheat mode. Shitlås.
Beautiful. And now let's add some darkness to it.
365 bro. Alla i cheat mode.
When you feed a mono source into delay 11, you will notice that it doesn't widen anything if it's not stereo already. So just let me engage the baby comeback with the ping pong, and then you can hear the width on the Platoon. Let's listen.
365 bro. 365 bro. Alla i cheat.
I'll show you something else with a real stereo source.
Det her er 247 rap, 365 bro. Ingen spiller ekte lenger, alle er i cheat mode. Spytter masse dritt og snakker shitlås når vi drar på. Stilen er retarded bra, dum som en smartphone. Returnerer som en bumerang tilbake. Goser der på saken, deler linjer som et hekto. Brekker dritten ned, delt i to som et knektor. Kommer med respekt bror og stødig som en vektor. Er tett på gamet, men holder fortsatt avstand. Det er krig mellom orda, det vi skriver er en maktkamp. Balanse i et landskap, gateprat på asfalt. Gjør en kort prosess, jeg har ikke tid for jeg må dra snart.
Wow. Nice. Okay, and before I give the verdict, if this video has given you any value at all, hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. Just a small caveat to the verdict. I like all these free plugins. I think they have their own place and their own style, and I couldn't be without any of them. And I don't think you should either. So just go download them. The links are in the description. First place for ease of use is Platoon Studio. The Freak Echo is on the second place and the Baby Audio is on the third place. And that's just my opinion. I think the Delay 11 is really fast to use. The Freak Echo is really straightforward and the Baby Comeback has a cool interface, but it's a bit more tedious and a bit small. Not that it's a bad thing. I really like the design, but it's a bit small. When it comes to features, the Baby Audio comes in on the first place because they have all the ping pong function, the ducker, and all those color controls that I really like. And the width is really astonishing, and it also widens up a mono signal. And on the second place is the Platoon Studio, and it has a lot of features as well, whilst the Freak Echo is really simple. But again, that pitch shifter is really swell. Can I say swell? Which brings us to the special features category, which is the Freak Echo on first place because of the pitch shifter, and the Baby Audio on second place, and on third place the Platoon Studio. And finally, I've rated the user interface, and I think Platoon Studio has to be the winner right here because it is laid out so well. It's a resizable interface and everything is easy to find and really accessible. Whilst on the second place is the Baby Comeback because it has a sweet, nice interface and I like the Baby Audio aesthetics. And on the third place is the Freak Echo. It's an older plugin, you have to give it that. I think it's 13 or 14 years old or something. It's really a lot older than the other contenders. And if you're interested in other great free plugins, I have this video right here where I go through my top 5 plugins. And I also have a video dedicated to reverb, which is sort of related, but I think any of these 2 videos would do you good. I appreciate you for staying with me and I hope I see you in one of these videos.
Peace!